Reviving the Vedic Culture of Yajna by Dr. Pranav Pandya, disciple of Pandit Sri Ram Sharma Acharya Ji. Audio 5. Yajna enshowers sublime streams of prana. The effects of yajna are not confined to the removal of atmospheric pollution and medicinal purification. It is only the gross facet. Its sublime effects are more intensive and amazing. Prominent among these is the Parjanya. Parjanya implies sublime showers of streams of vital energy and spiritual strength from the cosmic layers, meaning higher space. As the natural fertilizers add to the potency of soil, the unique confluence of mantra shakti, thermal force, and sublimated herbal energy in yajna also elevates the vital energy in the atmosphere while purifying the air. This prana is dissolved in the air. We inhale it with oxygen by inner determination during the deep breathing yoga exercises of pranayama. The flow of fresh air in the morning is found to be rich in prana. The larger the scale of yajnas and longer their duration, the greater would be these sublime and gross effects. The parjanya generated by yajna augments the level of prana in the air. This effect is dense around the yajnashala and is also pervaded in the wider space and continues to expand with the flow of air with the process of yajna. If we pour some oil drops in a pot containing water, soon the oil would spread on the entire surface of water. In a similar way, the energy of yajna expands all around in the open space. Its prana is also dissolved in the rain and showered through the energized space and thus gets absorbed in the soil and the crops and vegetation. The soil irrigated by it is found to be more fertile and the grains, fruits, vegetables grown there are tasty and have higher nutritious potency. The milk of the cows which graze the grass grown on such land is also of excellent quality. Drinking the milk and eating the fruits, vegetables energized by yajna increases our stamina, resistance against infections and diseases, our vital power, courage and mental trenchantcy. In fact, the cosmic flow of prana is omnipresent in the subliminal realms of nature. This is what enables all activities, movements, and evolution. Because of its presence, all creatures are called prani. This is the source of our vital strength. If it were present in substantial amount in the body, a visible, lean and skinny fellow would also be very strong and healthy. Its elevated levels are expressed in mental radiance, intellectual trenchantcy and talents. Its alleviation, on the contrary, would turn a chubby, fat, visibly healthy chap rather weak, lethargic and dull. Reduction of this subtle energy in the plants and trees would diminish the shining beauty of flowers, potency and nutritious power of the fruits, vegetables and grains. Decreased levels of prana in the air despite substantial amount of oxygen would lessen its vitality. Even deep breathing of this otherwise fresh air would not have desired healthy effects. People living at such places are found to lack vital strength, resistance and mental trenchantcy. The parjanya induced by yajna compensates for this deficiency. The parjanya of yajna energizes the surrounding atmosphere with intense flow of cosmic prana. The Holy Gita mentions of this as the rain of Parjanya. generated by Yajna, which is enshowered from the sublime domains in cosmic expansion, and which sustains the life and vigor of all living beings, and induces new zeal and delight in every dimension. Harmony of divine powers and ecological balance by Yajna. Devatas are the divine powers that are regarded to subliminally govern the manifestation and activities of nature. All that exists in the cosmos, all the movements in the world, the ups and downs of human life, the sufferings, the joys, all have intimate relation with them. The accordance and happiness of Devatas is described in the scriptures as the source of blissful progress and prosperity. Their disappointment and non-conformity, on the contrary, obstructs one's fortunes. His hard labors and strife goes fruitless. As for the Shastric literature, Yajna is the best among all the means of achieving the concordance and beatitudes of Devatas. In the rhetoric style of the Shastric literature, the Matsya Purana writes, the Devatas survive on Yajna. All the living beings and creatures are under the control of Devatas, and the latter are governed by Yajna. Yajna is Lord Vishnu, who encompasses and fosters all. The same scripture further mentions that Lord Vishnu is pleased by performing Yajna, and the whole world gains joy by the contentment of Lord Vishnu. The Shiv Purana elaborates, Yajna alone is the enlightened means of gladdening Lord Shiva. Therefore, you, the Rishis, should organize a grand Yajna across the globe. The Kalika Purana also elucidates, the Devatas are delighted by Yajna. The whole world is maintained by Yajna. The earth is held by the power of Yajna. Yajna alone leads to evolution and salvation of the living beings. Similar views are expressed in the Shapat Brahma. It refers Yajna as the food, meaning source of energy, for the Devatas. According to this scripture, the Devatas are ennobled by Yajna to accomplish whatever they do. Lord Krishna states in the Holy Gita, Devan bhavaya tatena te deva bhavayantu yaha, meaning you, all the human beings, should worship the Devatas by the Yajna-based deeds. They will be delighted and bestow their grace. The ascent of Devatas has intense linkage with the ecological order, along with the happiness and peace of human life. Nature is the medium of thy manifestations and the platform for the expressions of the Devatas. The order and perpetual cycle of nature is sustained on their boons. The different activities and perception of nature are the displays of these sublime divine powers. The phrases and statements like Devatas enshower boons when delighted by worship of the devotees, or humans should gladden the Devatas for thy grace, etc., found in the Shastric scripture rhetoric descriptions. Gladdening the Devatas should not be misinterpreted as pleasing them by worship, adoration, or gifts, etc. There is no meaning of all this for the Devatas, which are sublime powers. What will they do of the gross material things or flowers and other offerings of worship, etc.? The words of our praise, prayer, or begging will also have no relevance for these cosmic forces. Indeed, thy grace could be realized and attained only by enlightened inner self and spiritual refinement of life. The latter could be achieved only by adopting thy disciplines of moral values, virtuous elevation, and altruist service of the world. This is what is the Jivan Yajna. The invocation and worship of Devtas performed in front of the Yajnagni are the means of recalling the eternal rule of omnipresent thy powers and strengthening our determination to comply with the ideals of Yajna. The gross effects of Yajna described earlier also play important role in maintaining the natural order and in healthy sustenance of natural creations, in accordance with the regulation of the Devtas on gross elements. Our neglect of the disciplines of Yajna disturbs the subliminal harmony of cosmic order of Devtas. This corresponds to perturbing the natural cycle of nurturing the Devtas by Yajna, and directly or indirectly leads to insidious consequences in our lives too. This is what is the annoyance or disappointment of the Devtas. The rising frequency of natural calamities, drastic variations in seasonal effects, and disturbances in the ecosystems are evidences of these wrongdoings. In this context, we may consider what the Vayu Puran indicates. It says, the lack of control in the absence of Yajna of the Devtas over the gross basic elements of nature like the air and water results in droughts, floods, disastrous cyclones, etc. The Nirukta mentions the Devtas are empowered by Agni Yajnas and thus preserve the properties and functions of air, water, fire, etc. under natural order. This protects the creatures and other creations from untimely destructions. Rishi Markandeya also warns that paucity of Yajna reduces the energy resources of the Devtas. This hinders the production of clouds and thus blocks rainfall. The lack of rain results in shortage of food grains and leads to droughts and famines. Today we have not only forgotten the teachings of Yajna and ignored performing the Agni Yajna experiments, but also proceeded in the contrary direction. Deviated from the philosophy of Yajna, we are gradually being driven by animal instincts, perverted thinking, and even declined to the level of civilized demons and living ghosts. We have preferred excessive consumption and squeezing of natural resources rather than caring to maintain ecological order, and thus invited the fury of the Devtas as a natural consequence. This is what is visibly expressed in the tragic calamities of disastrous tremors, droughts, cyclones, floods, acid rains, climate shifts, etc., that are threatening the extinction of very existence of life on our planet. The attempts of setting the clock right appear superficial. Despite global efforts from the environmental scientists and the governmental and social agencies, the grandeur of the gigantic problem seems to be increasing at more rapid pace. It is time we look for other alternatives. Consider the super scientific vision of our ancestor rishis and give a chance to revival of the glorious tradition of Yajna. We should orient our talents and resources as per the philosophy of Yajna to invite the grace of the Devtas in harmonizing the natural order of the ecosystem and also attempt scientific experiments on Agnihotra Yajna to purify the environment and strengthen the regulating powers of nature.